Just 50 feet away from Highway 101 in California is a Spanish-themed structure you might fail to spot if you sped by. Named the Motel Inn, the once trailblazing monument is now a pale shadow of its former glory. This video tells you everything about the Motel Inn, the oldest motel in the world. Despite its current plight, the Motel Inn has a significant claim to fame in the world of travel. It is the world's first motel. It also is the birthplace of the word motel. We'll later share the story behind how the term motel came into being. The Motel Inn, built in San Luis Obispo, a town between Los Angeles and San Francisco, was designed by Arthur Heinemann, a California architect who decided to enter the lodging business in 1925. The Motel Inn was the first of Heinemann's vision of a chain of 18 motels stretching from San Diego to Seattle. However, the Great Depression derailed those plans.
That's too bad.
Hence, he only built the Motel Inn, which was briefly known as the Milestone Motel after its inauguration. Today, it is part of Apple Farm Inn, a quaint and cheery motel next door. The Motel Inn was an unusually luxurious lodging model after Spanish architecture, with a bell tower, white pillars, and a courtyard. It cost $80,000 to build and had a unique model that addressed a niche market. While there were other hotels in San Luis Obispo at the time, you'd have to find a garage to park your car in before proceeding to the hotel you were staying at. Mark Hall Patton, director of the County Historical Museum in San Luis Obispo, says there were a few auto courts near where travelers stayed, but you couldn't always park directly in front of your room. And this was the first place in the world to be referred to as a motel. To think people did not have the convenience of parking their hand-cranked Model T right in front of their rooms and have immediate access to it in the morning. In response to this need, Heinemann designed his establishment so that guests could drive right up to the front door of their rooms or an adjacent garage. Although Heinemann initially planned to restructure the Motor Hotel Inn, the painter of the signpost shortened it to Motel Inn because he couldn't fit all the letters on the signage. After the local newspaper mistakenly called it the Motel Inn, the new moniker stuck. To reminisce some more, we'll later tell you about Marcella Faust, one of the first waitresses to work at the motel's restaurant. Back then, most American car travelers stayed in campgrounds or tiny wood cabins clustered around a gas station or general store. However, as Americans' love affair with the automobile deepened in the 1930s, mom-and-pop cottages sprouted up across the country. As highways and automobile travel expanded in the 1940s and 1950s, the era of the classic American motel began. A long, low building with all the rooms under one roof and plenty of gleaming plywood and plastic furniture. Rooms at the Motel Inn cost between $1 and $3 per night, depending on size, and were considered modern, if not as opulent as luxury hotels. Sean Nolan, general manager of Apple Farm Inn, observes that each room had a telephone, which was unusual at the time. On the property, there was also a steakhouse and a bar that were popular with both locals and tourists, as well as an afternoon smorgasbord, as the motel called it, with enchiladas for lunch.
That was delicious.
The motel remained in operation until the late 1980s, when it was permanently closed despite multiple efforts to save it. Nolan says, a lot of the building itself was literally made out of cardboard blocks wrapped in chicken wire with stucco over it. There were some plans to try to restore it to its former glory and make it nice again, but they never materialized. The buildings, as dilapidated as they were, simply began to crumble. While the Motel Inn is no longer in operation, it is not forgotten. According to Nolan, the Apple Farm Inn is working on resurrecting some of the motel's history. Apple Farm's gift shop currently stocks foods grown and cultivated in San Luis Obispo County, and they're working on adding menu items that would have been served at the Motel Inn. We're attempting to pay homage to what the Motel Inn truly represented, which was the best of San Luis Obispo and the surrounding area, and introduce our guest to that. Nolan explains. It's time to introduce you to Marcella Faust, who once worked at the Motel Inn and considered it an important part of her life. Back in 1926, as a bright-eyed adolescent, she was one of the first waitresses to work at the motel's restaurant. In a 1991 interview with the Seattle Times, Her voice glistened with memories when she relayed how the Motel Inn hosted everyone from traveling salesmen to Hollywood celebrities over the years. She even mentioned that she met her future husband there. Subscribe to this channel for the latest updates on the hospitality industry. Now a relic of American history, the Motel Inn has been surpassed by more modern and comfortable motels on a nearby strip. It sits desolate, its restaurant and guest rooms having been closed for the past 31 years. However, there is still life in the old motel. There are plans to restore and reopen the main motel in building as a restaurant and banquet facility, and to build a small museum dedicated to the history of the Motel Inn and other early American motels. But there will be no more overnight stays at this symbol of American mobility, because the Motel Inn rooms are too small to meet modern standards and too expensive to restore. Now that you know about the oldest motel in the world, we recommend you watch the top 5 most famous motels in the world.